Hi, my name is Wasif. I'm one of the owners and pharmacist of iCare Pharmacy, and welcome to the iCare podcast, where we talk all things about health and wellness. If you do have any questions about the podcast or any comments, feel free to text me at 780-705-8871. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the podcast. Thanks, take care, and we'll talk soon. Hi, my name is Wasif. I'm the owner and pharmacist of iCare Pharmacy, Windermere. And this is my brother Atif.
Hello.
He's originally actually from the States, but he's been staying with us for a bit now. When did you come by?
Like late August, but I mean, I guess I also grew up here, right?
Yeah. You're from here. So has it already been it's already been a year, almost?
No.
Like 9 months?
Got here like late August, so it's almost like 6 months, right?
You got here August the 23rd.
August 23rd.
No, wait, August 19th.
September,
sorry.
October, November, December. So yeah, like 4 months.
Oh, 4 months. It's like COVID seems to change your perspective of things. Like I feel like it's already been like a couple of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Just August.
Yeah.
4 months. So you can also find you streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
Under what name?
Oh, Minister Gold.
So you can check that out.
Wasn't
Minister
expecting that.
Gold.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, gotta do our plugins where we can.
Yeah.
And I'll do a quick plug-in for me. So iCare Pharmacy, if you need anything pharmacy-wise, we deliver all throughout Edmonton, Sherwood Park, St. Albert, Beaumont, and delivery is always free. So if you ever need anything, or if you have any questions about the podcast we're doing, or any questions after, feel free to leave a comment, or you can also just email icarewindermere@gmail.com. The voice you hear off stage is my lovely wife, Dodo. Say hi, Dodo.
Hey everyone.
And, just before anyone says anything, Dodo is a term of affection. I know it's also a bird that died, but it's a term of affection. Dodo actually has a poli-sci degree, so if you ever need to argue someone about policies in the Middle East, she would be the perfect person to talk to. Anyways, the reason why we're doing this podcast is I'm just trying to supplement. We put out a blog in regards to the COVID vaccine, so we just wanted to kind of do something more interactive and talk a little bit more depth in regards to the vaccine. So I should actually say we're also shooting this video December 13th, so officially the first day of lockdown. But the good news is that we are getting our first shipment of the COVID vaccine actually tonight, specifically of the Pfizer. So the first people that they're going to try to get that to is going to be like healthcare workers, as well as those who are more at risk, so just like people living in long-term homes. So just to start, we're going to start with just the various vaccines that are available. Yeah. Okay, so one of the vaccines is a Russian vaccine. They named it Sputnik 5. So if you guys are not familiar, the Sputnik was the first satellite that was released into space in 1957. So they named it after that, and that was kind of an interesting name, because that was kind of what started off the whole Cold War. So it's kind of interesting that they went that way. Overall, they're claiming about a originally it was 90% effectiveness rate, and then they bumped it up to 92%. The data on it is, when they first released that data, they didn't really have a lot of information in regards to how they hadn't had a lot of volunteers. So there's been a little bit of a speculation about the data. But how about you, would you sign up for Sputnik?
I'd be a little hesitant because I don't know what relationship the creators of that vaccine has to the government, and my instinct is to not have much trust for the Russian government.
Well, yeah, and that's not like unfortunately, that's not like, I know we're not getting super political, so I can see Dodo cringing off stage, but I mean, often, unfortunately, there is some intersection between politics and health. But yeah, I mean, all the way from the Cold War till now, it's been kind of a rocky relationship with the Russians. But that being said, it is interesting that a bunch of the vaccines were purchased by Hungary for their population, and also as well, India agreed to produce 100 million units of the vaccine by the end of 2021. And so, I mean, the good thing is they are going to have increased scrutiny because of these relationships that they have. Also, as well, they're going to be doing a combination. They're also going to kind of test out how well it's working in combination with the next vaccine that we're going to talk about, which is the Oxford vaccine. So what they are going to try to do is like a lot of these vaccines are you're getting one shot, and then anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks later you're getting a second shot. So the Oxford vaccine, the way it worked was they are a 60% efficacy when they get 2 full doses. So 1 dose, and then 21 or 28 days later they get a second dose. But what they did notice was when they first get a half dose and then later on they get a full dose, it actually bumped it up to 90% efficacy. But the issue with that is there has been some questions brought up about how exactly they got their results. So that part is a little bit that there needs to be more research done to kind of figure out exactly what their efficacy rate is. So we'll be looking forward to seeing more information released by them. Yeah.
When you say how they got the results, do you mean like was it like peer reviewed, or like what does that mean?
No, it's like peer reviewed and stuff, but it was a little bit weird because they had like one thing where they did. It seemed like they had one where they did 1 and 1, and the other one they did half a dose and one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was just a little bit of confusion why there was 2 arms, and why there wasn't just like it seemed like they weren't following like protocol in terms of what exactly to do in terms of the study.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some questions about that. The other thing I was going to mention is just touching about efficacy itself. So I don't know if you know or not, but like when these guys are saying it's 95% effective, what does that mean to you?
My assumption of that is it means that like that's the likelihood that the like virus or whatever will be removed from your system.
Yeah. But it's interesting how they got to that number. So how they get to that number is like, say you had like 40,000 people undergo your study, and 28,000 of those people get the placebo, and 20,000 get the the actual vaccine. So what ends up happening is out of the placebo group, 5 people get COVID. Say out of the placebo group, 95 people get COVID, mm-hmm. and out of the group that is actually out of the group that gets the actual vaccine, you only get 5 people that get COVID. So 5 divided by 100 is like 5 in 100 equates to 95%, mm-hmm. and that's how they kind of get that's how they calculate their efficacy rates. Okay. Yeah. So because it's not like you can go around just giving people COVID.
Yeah.
Because that would be unethical. So it's hard to kind of determine how efficacy rates using that way. So they just kind of have to just kind of give them the vaccine or the placebo and just see how they do, over the next little while. The other vaccine that we're going to talk about next is the Moderna vaccine. So that one is 94.5% effective. The interesting thing about the Moderna vaccine is when you looked at the number of people that got COVID, in that group, for even the people that ended up getting, because if you get the vaccine, it's not 100% certain that you won't get COVID. Mm-hmm. So even the people that ended up getting COVID in that arm, none of them had severe symptoms. So that was really promising. So they think that you might be able to extrapolate that if you do get vaccinated and if you do end up getting COVID anyways, that the symptoms won't be as severe. So that's promising too. The main one that we're interested right now, though, is the Pfizer vaccine. So the Pfizer vaccine is the one that landed tonight, and then they're starting distribution of it. And so that one's is set to be about 95% effective, and they had a large number of participants to, the data was the most robust out of everyone that had it there. Now the downside not downside, but one of the situations with the Pfizer vaccine was that people who they started the rollout in the UK already last week, and there are two people that had very severe allergic reactions, and a couple of healthcare workers. So the UK released a statement saying if you have a history of severe allergic reactions, then you shouldn't get the COVID vaccination. And then Health Canada looked at the same data and they said, well, as long as you don't have any, or you're not allergic to any of the components of the Pfizer vaccine, then you should be okay to get it. So, so they're a little bit more specific. It's a good thing though, because I don't know. I'm trying to figure out the data myself, because like, have you ever had a history of allergic reaction?
No.
I've had two
Okay.
allergic reactions where my lips swelled up and I had trouble breathing. And
That was a food allergy.
yeah, food allergy.
Yeah.
But so the UK government is saying like, you have a food allergy, you shouldn't get it.
What about people who are allergic to like, let's say bee stings? Like, my brother and, several other people have severe allergic reactions to bees.
Yeah, well, like Health Canada is saying it's fine as long as you're not allergic to any of the specific components of the vaccine.
And have they listed the specific components?
Yeah,
of
it's
the
actually
vaccine?
on their website.
Okay.
Listed on their website
Okay.
on Health Canada, so you can look that up. I can leave a link in regards to that as well. Yeah, so I think so how likely are you going to be like first in line to get the vaccine?
No,
No?
but I mean, it's good to hear how I guess the frontline workers are being affected by it, because that gives me an idea of I guess how it'll affect people when they take the vaccine.
Yeah.
So after I hear that's stabilized, and I'll be more likely to like go in and
Yeah.
I
For
think
sure.
also I'm more comfortable with people who are high risk
Yeah.
and the vulnerable population. I want to see them get it because I feel like they're a priority.
Yeah. How
So-
comfortable are you with the idea of getting the vaccine
I have no
yourself?
problem getting the vaccine. The only thing is I just want the people the most vulnerable and
Oh,
most
yeah.
susceptible to COVID and who've gone through COVID to get it as well. And then like I don't consider myself a priority right now.
I'm a pharmacist, so I'm biased, right? So I have no problem of when it's my turn to get the COVID-19 vaccination, whether it be Pfizer or Moderna, that I'd be, more than willing to get it, right? And, that's just my comfort level, and everyone has a different comfort level at the end of the day, right? And, and it's a conversation, as people who are more comfortable get it, as a conversation we can have,
Yeah,
right?
to
In
each their
terms of like, you'll be like, hey, Wasif, you still alive? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. I have a little bit of a sore arm, but I'm doing all right. And that would make, because you're not a medication guy at all, right?
Right.
So that would kind of put you in a situation where you're more comfortable to get it. And same thing with you, honey, because I know you don't like meds and that sort of thing. That's
Yeah,
not
but
really
I mean
your thing.
and that's fine, and it's
Yeah.
everybody's different, and I think
Yeah, like I think, like me personally, I'm comfortable getting it, but I'm also more than willing to have these conversations as more people get inoculated to
Yeah.
kind of help people along and make them feel more comfortable about that decision.
And if people don't choose to get immunized, that's to each their own, right? But I think
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
I don't really like the idea of mandatory anything. That's just I feel like everyone should be kind of in charge of their health. And so that it is what it is. One thing I should quickly point out that I forgot to point out at the beginning, just because some people are going to ask, is pharmacists are not injecting the vaccine.
Yeah.
Because it's the protocol in terms of shipping and storage of the vaccination is quite strict. For instance, it's coming from the shipment tonight from Pfizer came from Belgium to Germany to Kentucky to Edmonton. right? And that took a total of 36 hours, and all the while it had to be kept at minus 70 degrees. The pharmacy right now just doesn't have the infrastructure to kind of deal with that.
And also considering Pfizer, they said in an article that I read today,
Yeah.
that was recently updated, that it's going to be in a immunized control environment, so in case there's reactions.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Which is smart, right? Because, like, part of the reason people are a little bit, not skeptical, but a little bit worried is because, because of the COVID situation, we kind of had to, something that usually takes us 10 years to develop, we did like in a year,
Yeah.
right? So obviously you're going to have more safety protocols in place when you're administering the vaccine.
So who's going to be administering the vaccine in Edmonton?
I'm not sure. I haven't really read the exact plan in regards to that, but I imagine Alberta Health would have to set something up in regards to their nurses and that sort of thing at specific facilities, right? Oh, the other thing I wanted to touch was just to talk about the different types of how this is like a new class of vaccinations. So you have the Sputnik, you have Moderna, and you have Pfizer. Those are all mRNA vaccinations. So mRNA, what it is, do you know mRNA?
What
Did
is
you have to do that?
mRNA?
Do you remember that?
No.
Something DNA. I don't know.
Something DNA. That's all you need to know. Something DNA. Basically, the cell uses mRNA to the COVID vaccine. Like everyone has mRNA, and you use it as a template to make DNA. And COVID-19 has their own type of mRNA that they use to do that. So what they do is they take that mRNA that's in the COVID vaccine, and they put it into the vaccine, and it's formulated in such a way that it only produces the spike protein that's on the coronavirus. And so you inject it into the muscle, and then your cells, what they do is they take in the mRNA and they start producing those spike proteins, and they end up basically growing little spike proteins themselves on the cells. And then our immune system says, hey, that doesn't belong here. What's this? And then the immune system comes in and it basically attacks them at a small scale, and because they see them and attack them, they basically memorize, this is what we have to fight against when we actually see the real thing. So that's kind of what happens with the mRNA. I would like to say it is quite similar to, we've been watching a lot of Star Wars, so I would like to say it's quite similar to, okay, I'm probably going to lose a lot of people at this one, but I don't care. I just really want to do this. Rogue One. Remember Rogue One, the movie Rogue One?
Yes.
Okay, they landed on Rogue One to steal the blueprints of the Battlestar, right?
Yeah.
Of the Death Star, not Battlestar, that's a different show. Of the Death Star, and basically what we're doing is we have the blueprints of the Death Star now, and Rogue One did their thing. And now we're taking that Death Star information, injecting it in our cells, so we can press that button like Luke did and blow up the Death Star, and no more COVID. So that's what's happening.
Glad you got that off your chest.
Yeah. I had to get that off my chest. And then not the Pfizer, the Oxford one is a little bit different. So it's not an mRNA vaccine. The Pfizer one, what that is they take like a type of common cold, and it's inactivated, and they get that common cold virus to be able to be programmed to produce the spike protein itself.
Oh.
And then we're injected with the common cold vaccine, and while it's in us, it produces the spike protein, triggering that immune response. So it's a little bit different. That's the one that might be 60, might be 90% effective. And the interesting thing about the Oxford one is that it's a lot, in terms of being able to distribute it, it's a lot easier because the cold chain is only 2 to 8 degrees versus minus 70. So if they can perfect that and get more data on that I think that'll go a long way in really helping people out. Last thing to say is just in regards to perspective. I think it was just interesting, like at I think in regards to just COVID at the beginning, we kind of understand the world just based upon just what we kind of see and what we experience with our own eyes, with our own senses. And at the beginning of COVID, it was a situation where, a lot of people like would be questioning and would be asking, just saying that, I don't, I don't really know a lot of people that have gotten it and that sort of thing. And, is this a real concern? Is this something that we need to worry about? Just because we didn't really, myself included, I didn't really know anyone that had it at the time, right? But now, like at my practice, I've had a few patients who got it and that sort of thing, and some patients have had like no symptoms and they're fine, and other patients, like I have this other patient who's not in Canada, mind you, he's in like practicing in Barbados right now, and he ended up getting it, and he said it was like breathing underwater. So I mean, so it's really interesting to kind of see where we're at now, and the numbers have been rising and that sort of thing, but I think everyone at this point understands the severity of the situation, and I think Albertans can pull together and just come together to kind of just push through these next 2 to 3 months, and hopefully we can come out the other end feeling better about ourselves and having trying to flatten out this curve. So yeah.
And if, like, just one thing I want to point out as well is something to keep in mind, even though some of us are considered in good shape and healthy, I'm thinking about the most vulnerable. Like, I have family members who are asthmatic or, immunocompromised, and friends who are in the same position. So when I think about this whole situation, I think more about them and the most vulnerable people, and, the ones who are more susceptible to getting it. So that's something that we also want to keep in mind. Like, even though you're healthy and thank God, like, count your blessings that you're healthy and you have a good immune system, we also have to consider, there's other people that are not. And, we want to be mindful of that as well. Think of others as we, go through this. And I'm positive this will come to an end soon. Yeah. Like, I don't think anything lasts forever. And I'm certain that this too shall pass.
Definitely. So yeah, I want to thank you again for tuning in and listening. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast, or if you have any comments or questions, like I said, you can either leave them below, or you can always shoot me an email at icarewindermere@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you. Again, I'm Wasif from iCare Pharmacy, and take care and stay safe and enjoy the holidays, enjoy the Christmas. I know it's going to be more like Zoom Christmas parties, but we can still get together, have a good time. So yeah.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
By the way, it's dodo bird, and it is a term of endearment. So thank you, honey. You missed the bird part.
Okay, dodo bird. Okay, bye. See you.